What's up, folks? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review Afroman's double album from 2004, Afroholic: The Even Better Times. Now, this was an album that I listened to frequently, like the season before I made Acid Root. So a lot in late 2014 and early 2015, I was listening to this. I really like stoner rap back in the day, back in those days, Wiz Khalifa, Mac and Devin, that sort of stuff, Afroman, E40. So those were some of the cats I was listening to around that time. But this is an album that continued to resonate with me, and even though I've recently noticed that it's actually not a classic, it's still one of the more enjoyable double albums I can think of. That's definitely the thing. I mean, there's 28 songs on here, which is, I mean, if Afroman could have nailed all 28 songs, I mean, obviously, I don't think, because this is on an independent label, and in some cases, I don't even think it's on a label. He has his own label, and he distributed it through afromanmusic.com. So that's where you would have found it back in 2004, 2006 and stuff. But he got dropped off of his label when the Good Times album with Because I Got High. It have some information about that. Because I Got High was a smash hit song, but then the follow-up song, Colt 45 and Two Zigzags, also called Crazy Rap, didn't really chart that well outside of Europe. And then so they didn't try a third single, didn't really even try at all. Afroman got dropped from his label and then just said, fuck it, I'm going to self distribute. So that was kind of the thing. I mean, originally in 2001, he was signed to like 6 album deal, which I don't think would have happened even if he had charted higher with, the Good Times. But this you can't take away the credit of this project for being bad, because Afroman proves again and again that he's a musician. He can rap decently and makes interesting and engaging songs. That was just kind of the thing about it. So, but to talk about this album, there's no singles, and I don't think that there were any music videos. So it's strictly independent, and just kind of you vibe yourself and pick what you want. And when I found this album 6 years ago, I messed with just the smoking songs, because I was just sipping 40s and liking that kind of vibe. So songs like I Drive Better Drunk, Late at Night, Dance with Me, Let's Get High Tonight, some of those type songs. Those are the songs I immediately went for. Smoke One. Those were my favorites back in those days, and they continue to be good, but I don't really. I'm unable to drink now, so they're not quite as fun as they were when I was like 25 and stuff. But it still is interesting just from Afroman's point of view, because it is a central theme for him. Get stoned, drink some 40s, drink some Colt 45, hit on some ladies after that, cruise down the street in your vehicle, cruise down the street in your vehicle, and kind of take it easy. But so yeah, that's mostly the themes on here. I found myself liking the more upbeat songs more so than the downbeat songs, and the kind of reflective. Afroman kind of has an affinity for religion and God this time, so you'll hear that if you listen hard enough. You can hear him kind of pledging allegiance to him and such. But it's not overbearing, but it is an extra theme on this album. So, uh, but yeah, it's about half and half. There's half songs. There are a bunch of interesting songs, but there was an original version of this album that had a few more tracks that I would have wished were on there, like Colt 45 and hang on, Colt 45 and Girls, Sag Your Pants, and Caddy Hop. Some more interesting songs compared to songs that I would have preferred not be on there, like Airport, Leaving California, Ghetto Memories, and Whack Rappers 2, some of those type songs, 1988. I mean, there just were questionable songs on the reissue when the original version had such color and extra uh, vib- vibrancy on the project. So that's just kind of the thing. I mean, obviously the idea is to get both versions, but I originally tried to get the original version that came out back in 2004, but it's very hard to find. So I just didn't know what to do. So the reissue is okay, but if it would have had the songs from the original version, it probably would have gotten a higher score. I would have liked probably more like 16 or 17 songs, something like that. But I wound up liking 14. So out of 28, that's exactly half the album. So I guess we'll kind of get to that and kind of discuss the songs that I recommend to you. So, just because it's kind of a shorter review, just because there's no real promotion, so there's not a lot to talk about. So, I'm just going to have to talk about the songs I liked so you get the vibes here. So, the 14 songs out of 28 I recommend would be Drive Better Drunk, Let's Get High Tonight, West Y'all, Dance With Me, Smoke One, Major Beat, Late at Night, Hitting Switches, What If with E40, Fuck the Corporate World, I've Been Hustlin', Money Ain't Everything, Cali Swangin', and Gangsta Sound. Now, a lot of these kind of showcase Afroman at his best. I mean, that's the thing. He has some real highlights when he's just trying to get drunk, trying to get fucked up, trying to smoke a joint, that sort of stuff. Starts hitting on women, starts cruising around in his car, starts talking shit, has some dime bags, some weed to sell, that sort of stuff, low key kind of stuff, wants to go out to the dance club, talking about the stuff that he's doing, selling mixtapes and that sort of stuff. I mean, it's interesting just because of how pedestrian he kind of was even in 2003 and 2004. That's exactly the thing. I mean, he always came off to me as like lawyer money kind of rich, not so much like millionaire rich, but definitely probably worth 250 large, 550 large, something like that. Just easy going, had maybe 2 vehicles, not 7, that sort of stuff. Could get a girlfriend, could get women, that sort of stuff, but just real low key, took it easy. And I'll talk about some of the best moments. The best beat on this project to me probably was Dance With Me, because most of this album was produced by Afroman, but this song was not, and it's pretty charming. Smoke One was good if you're looking for like the Because I Got High Afroman, Let's Get High Tonight and Smoke One, do that. He talks about smoking on almost all of these songs, but those are some of the ones that have that as a theme. Drive Better Drunk was funny just because you shouldn't drive drunk, but he didn't care. That was kind of funny there. West Y'all was good. Major Beat and Hitting Switches kind of had some nice car beats and that sort of stuff. I like the topic of fuck the corporate world, just him kind of saying he doesn't like the way the government kind of works and that sort of thing. I've Been Hustling is kind of just like a kind of get money kind of song, but then he doubles back when he talks about money ain't everything, where he talks about like the vices and the bad things about how money kind of affects things. So there's just all sorts of stuff to kind of go on here. I would have liked some songs for women. That's kind of why I wish that like the song Girls would have been on here, just because most of these songs kind of approach like from a male angle, but just having some songs for the ladies for Afroman, because he kind of did that in Crazy Rap, talking about all the women he screwed on there. But we don't really have like songs like that as lively and just out of the ordinary like that song, like Crazy Rap. So Girls would have been interesting. Afroman, he knows how to do that, so didn't really have a crazy rap type stuff. And he is funny, but it's a lot more mellow this time, so that's kind of the problem. But so to talk about some of the songs I didn't like I wasn't really feeling Whack Rappers, either of those. I know those songs got attention back in the day, but I really didn't like the beats on them at all. Really crummy. And 1988, some of the topics kind of felt like, why are we talking about this? I mean, Ghetto Memories was fine, but the beat was just terrible. And it's the same thing with From the Ghetto. So some of those. And then there's often times where I just don't like what Afroman's talking about. I mean, I feel like I know he has to show more personality, but some of the things he would choose to talk about were, they just didn't seem like they would fit into a song. Kind of like Roll Your Windows Down did that, and I didn't really like the beat on Keep on Limpin'. So those are just a handful. There's enough things that the weaknesses of some of this album, the other half that I didn't like, either bad instrumentation, not liking what Afroman talks about. I mean, he's a basic rapper. He's not really trying to be a lyricist, but when I don't like what he's talking about, I really don't vibe with the song at all. So that's kind of what happens. Not liking the beat, not liking what he's talking about, or just plain not liking the song topic is some of the things that kind of happen with this. That's what happens pretty frequently, or at least half of the time. Not pretty frequently, but half of what you get. So 14 songs good, 14 songs not as much. That's why I really wish that we would have kept some of the other ones from the original reissue. Shouldn't have snipped Colt 45, shouldn't have snipped um, Girls, shouldn't have snipped Caddy Hop. Maybe Rollin', that seems like another one that should have been on there. Freak On With You, I guarantee. So, I mean, you can find those songs if you look hard enough on YouTube, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna give this album a 6.5 out of 10, just because for me to like 14 songs off a double album is still pretty damn good. And it was enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. There's plenty to go around in terms of like what you would listen to with your friends and that sort of stuff. Plenty to smoke to, plenty to drink to, plenty to just dance to, go crazy, flirt and that sort of stuff. Drive to. Plenty of stuff to go around. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for personality, this album does have that too if you're more reflective or homebound, but uh there's enough to go around, but it's not quite perfect. I definitely have to give this a higher score than most double albums because most of the time, you know, they're. I mean, Afroman is interesting because he likes to smoke and drink, but most of the time they kind of switch it up and they just talk about a bunch of other things that don't really pertain to stuff I care about or are way too introverted or plain or bland or some of these other things. I mean, a lot of double albums just have topics that you just don't like because you see more personality from them. But Afroman handled it above average for the most part. So happens to be the thing. But so the social score gets a 0 just because it didn't have any singles. It's not like this project is bad, but I don't know why he didn't put out at least 1 or 2 music videos. On Spotify, the songs that they said that they liked the most were Whack Rappers, #1, I Drive Better Drunk, and Let's Get High Tonight. And no, minus Whack Rappers, I mean, it's a funny song. I like how he called out like a load of different rappers, but I just didn't like the beat. So I suppose that could have been an almost song, but this was kind of meh. So, but I do agree with the other songs. So yeah, minimal promotion. Afroman went back to his normal basic ways, but it still is an above average project. So check it out. It's a double album worth talking about.